Hip-hop is galactic. It's everywhere.
When it was first created, it was like a revolution.
I never heard people rapping. It was like falling in love.
Studying your history of music is the biggest part of music.
We showing up to these places to hear this music by the thousands. Why? It didn't only please our ears, it pleased our whole lifestyle. Listen, hip-hop is galactic. It's universal. It's gone global. It's everywhere.
There was a hip-hop culture in the 70s before there was recorded music. The DJ sets up in the park. First it was just DJs in the early 70s, and maybe the DJ would rock very simple rhymes on the mic.
And then cats would start breakdancing in circle or popping and challenging each other and battling each other. It was like, yo, what is this?
Over time, MCs started to come and take over the rapping from the DJs. And it would be very simplistic rhymes, one-syllable words, rhyming with one-syllable words. Then we're off to the races of people trying to describe their world in different ways. At first, it was just New York. It starts to expand, outside of the Bronx to all 5 boroughs, and then to, Philly and Jersey, and then it starts to expand to the West Coast. Then the South gets involved, so the whole country is starting to get involved.
I just thought hip hop was in New York. I hear it's in California. I'm like, they rapping in California? Like what? So now it's like you get excited because now the shit is just traveling. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Hip-hop is what make you move your feet, man. When it was first created, it was like a revolution. If you really look at it, when every type of genre was first created, it was just a revolution. Like it was something that overtook people by storm. Like when rock and roll came out, what that do? Took folks by storm.
And it wasn't just the music, it wasn't just the performance, but it was everything that started kind of expanding from that. How we started dressing, how we started playing with language.
I definitely think fashion plays a big part in it, and just street culture, that kind of gave rap that flashy feel.
The gold chains, all the jewelry, that comes from hip hop. And you see it everywhere now. Not just other parts in music, people who you never expect to listen to hip hop.
What everybody fails to realize is we put all that shit under the banner of hip hop, because hip hop is not a form of music, it's a lifestyle. In any situation, we have to pay respects to the pioneers. And the first one through the wall usually gets the bloodiest. They're gonna get all the scraps and scrapes, and then there's a hole there now. So the rest of us can go through.
I think studying your history of music is the biggest part of music, because I always said if you want to go down in history, be a legend like these people, why would you not want to listen to the legends already?
Most of my mentors is OGs. I see how far they came in the business, and I'm latching on to those people, you feel me? If they're older than you, they've been through some stuff. You just gotta be able to decipher and pick what relates to you and what's, what's real.
I remember being in the car with my mom, Rapper's Delight came on, it was like, that is totally different than all the other songs we hear on the radio. And what is that?
One of my best friends used to tell me about these mixtapes that he would hear in Manhattan. And I heard a tape of Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 MCs, and it just fucking blew my mind. Because I never heard people rapping. It was like falling in love.
So I've been listening to hip hop before I knew I was listening to hip hop. But the exact moment I fell in love with hip hop there was a guy named Granddaddy IU. I will never forget this rhyme for as long as I live. He said, I knew a girl named Kenya from West Virginia. Boy, would I like to stick something in her. And I just said, that shit was genius.
On the streets, I'm listening to the Cold Crush, and I'm listening to For Some C's, and I'm like, man, you can't play that in the house. Mom's is like, if you don't turn this, what the hell is this? So we basically damn near petitioned without signing nothing, meaning we were showing up to places by the thousands, and they can't believe it. So there was places like Latin Quarter, Union Square, clubs in Queens, clubs in Brooklyn, Empire Roller Ring, Utica Roller Ring. We showing up to these places to hear this music by the thousands. You can't get in. It's an abnormal amount of kids coming. Why? Oh, you wanna know why? Run DMC is playing. We wasn't letting this thing go because it didn't only please our ears, it pleased our whole lifestyle.
I mean, there was a long period of time when mainstream America was afraid of hip hop, thought it was a fad, thought it was too violent, thought it was too urban. I mean, I think in the 80s, most brands were afraid of hip hop.
If you didn't know anything about that right now, you'd be like, what kind of stupid ass shit is that? Rap sells everything. It's rappers everywhere. Every time I turn on the fucking TV, it's on the kids shows. It's on every other fucking commercial. It's everywhere. What are you talking about? But that's what we grew up in. We grew up in them telling us that you're not marketable. You're a fad.
It was new, it was fresh, and it was kind of like rebellious because, like, you know, my parents were like, what are you listening to? Like, so it was like everybody like older than you was like, that's garbage. What, like, so you like confused, like, this isn't garbage. Like, are you crazy? It was your thing, and it was just like you were rebellious if you were doing it. So it was just like, this is it. This is hip hop. Was like, wasn't the thing to do, but it was everything to do. And it was amazing. Changed my life.
Hip hop is the biggest genre in music right now.
Nothing bigger than us. Nothing.
Anywhere you go, hip hop has branched off.
You recognize how valued our culture and who we are is.
The Bronx started it, and now it's global.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's why I think music is universal.
Hip-hop provided everything. As a kid, for me, everything. It provided hope. Oh, I can do this. Like, this is something I could do. It's relatable. Like, it offered you to be cool. It offered you to be yourself. It was just everything. Hip-hop provides everything. It's a culture of everything.
There were these great little ads where St. Ides is this malt liquor, this horrific beer beverage, but it was very popular in the hood. They would say to rappers, just give me a 30-second rhyme about St. Ides and whatever you want to talk about. So it was like a new song from Ice Cube or whoever.
Back in the day, it used to be like Nas or whoever would do a commercial for a soda, and it would just be like World War II because that would be supposed to be, you know, corrupting the art form in some way. I'm glad that rap now is able to look at rappers with endorsements in a positive way and say, hey, it's good that you were able to go and make X amount of dollars for your family. And it seems like a real relic of like the 90s that used to be such a controversial thing.
Very quickly, that notion went away. And I think now, people will look at what ancillary things are you doing? Like, I liked his album, but I really liked his video game. And then you see in the Dr. Dre documentary, they're like, what else can we do? Sell speakers, right? Which is a brilliant idea for Dr. Dre. The music establishes who you are so that then you can do other things.
The branding is bigger than the music. The music is the love. That's why they love you. But then when you brand, the same thing with actors and athletes. They love you for what you do. But then when you brand it, they just go for your brand. That's the evolution of hip hop.
I think hip hop is going to affect so much more. Like, you look at Super Bowl commercials and there's hip hop songs. Like, you got Lil Yachty with Sprite commercials. That would have never happened in the beginning of hip hop because they didn't believe, they thought it was something that was gonna die off. But it's here to stay.
We wanted it to be global. Black is not global only. We're global, but there's whites, there's reds, there's blues, there's greens, there's yellows, there's oranges, and they like hip hop. My feelings on the success of other cultures within hip hop that technically is supposed to be a black art form, I have absolutely zero problem with it.
The first white rapper who was taken seriously was Eminem, and this is a guy who, for the most part, acknowledging that he was in some ways an outsider, even though when you really look at his story, I mean, his story is very much, you know, that of the average black rapper. I mean, you know, he came from a terrible upbringing and like really rough situation and stuff, but I mean, Eminem, you know, he forced his way in by being a really incredible rapper.
So you got a white guy who grows up, nothing but hip hop around him. He masters the craft to the point where the black kids in the culture can't even see him. What is he supposed to do? Go try to learn bass and play for Guns N' Roses? Fuck no. He gonna go compete. And we wanna hate simply because he's a white boy? Well, be better than him then.
It might be a little bit harder for a white rapper. Like, people don't want to take you serious sometimes. And then you have to prove yourself. So I might compare like a white rapper to a female rapper, kind of. I don't think the color of your skin means you can or can't be a hip hop rapper. If you've been through something and you can hold a beat, go for it.
See, the problem with some of the white rappers that came in the game, they didn't stay white. They tried to be us. You had a group actually called the Young Black Teenagers, and they were white boys. Who thought that was gonna fly? Like, for real. 3 white boys call themselves the Young Black Teenagers? That ain't gonna work.
Hip-hop is the biggest genre in music right now. It passed up country. Hip-hop has become what everybody listens to, what everybody wants to do.
Hip-hop is the highest streaming genre of music right now, so it's a chance for people all around the world to really get to hear the music, and I feel like people are just connected to hip-hop at a whole nother level. The Bronx started it, and now it's global.
And the people that come from overseas with their backpacks, they want to take pictures in front of Biggie's crib. They want to see the Barclays. You want to know why? Biggie, Jay-Z. We're bigger than every genre of music right now. There's nothing bigger than us. Nothing.
I was in Japan and I was doing a show, and I took to the one person in the crowd who knew every word of my songs. And I was like, I'm gonna find that motherfucker. Motherfucker didn't speak no English. I'm like, I watched you rap every word. And then whoever our interpreter was like, they just memorized the words. You really don't even know what the fuck they mean. He just memorized the words.
Music's that one thing that everybody loves. That shit is crazy. Because I know there's people in Japan and Germany and all these places who hear rap in America and they don't know what the fuck we're saying, but you know, they're addicted to these records. They buy the records. It's crazy how music does that.
I'm very proud that hip-hop is in all parts of the world, because hip-hop at the core is an expression of the Black and Latino people of America. And when you see hip-hop touching Africa, Japan, Germany, and France, you see it in Brazil, you recognize how valued our culture and who we are is.
Keep eight. That song is hard.
English, and most people in America know that song.
Exactly, because you feel it. Like what he's saying, I don't know what he's saying, but I don't even care because he believes it so much that I believe it. It's how it's supposed to be.
That's why I think music is a universal language.
Right now, we're influencing like Japanese rappers. Like I think those niggas are like the dopest niggas ever. Like, I feel like they do it better than some of us, you know what I'm saying? And that's like, damn.
I know in like China, they like block out a whole lot of stuff. A lot of social media things you can't speak out, like you can't openly go around saying F the president or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I think that they're just attracted to our freedom here in this country, and I think that's why the hip-hop music is a reflection of that freedom.
You go to somewhere like Paris, France, and hip-hop To me, what I witnessed in Paris is their hip hop. They're not trying to recreate California or New York, and you go to London, same story. Anywhere you go, hip hop is the blob. It's branched off and become something else, and you gotta love it.
There used to be an archetype that people thought made sense.
Rap is still one culture.
It's hard to say where it's going. The rules might change, but the game will be there forever.
Every generation always looks at the next generation as not knowing what's going on.
It's supposed to change. It's supposed to grow.
We don't know the definition of this era.
Nobody just want to hear you rap for like 30 minutes.
It has to grow and expand. People want something new, you know what I'm saying?
Music changes every day. Everybody's rapping different now.
I don't like to define the eras anymore because I started realizing me going through all these cultures from the 70s to 2018. You can get A to Z in every era. You're gonna get nonsensical rap, and then you're gonna get some shit that's really gonna stimulate your mind. Migos, they got hit records under their belt. These guys ain't making the same type of record J. Cole is making. So what era are we in? Lil Uzi Vert, super popular. He ain't doing the same thing Kendrick Lamar's doing. So what era are we in? That's what I mean. We don't know the definition of this era.
The difference between our generation and the old one is mainly like we're more focused on making sure the music like sounds good. Like it's lit, you feel me? Like we want the song to be listenable. Just cause you making cool words and shit, like nobody just wanna hear you rap for like 30 minutes.
Every generation always looks at the next generation as not really knowing what's going on, or their music isn't as good as the generation before, and that's just a cycle. Of course, there's records that I don't like that are out, but if it's a hit record and these kids love it, there's a reason for it, and it just probably just doesn't speak to me.
When I talk to my sons, and when I play them like older Jay-Z or Nas or Biggie, they're like, this is amazing. But they can't relate to it. There's just so much darkness, there's just so much aggression and violence. And then they hear Kanye and they feel like that. So my kids have told me like hip hop is pre-Kanye and post-Kanye, before Kanye and after Kanye.
Kanye could not have existed in a previous period of hip hop because he's very much of this moment of global celebrity culture, hip hop, and he came in through the side door. He was the producer. When he wanted to become a rapper, Jay-Z was like, ha! Producers don't become hot rappers. Dame Dash was like, no, we have to give him a chance because he could pull this off. This guy believes he can do anything.
It's hard to say where it's going. Everything has certain rules that change, or little provisions that change just because of the line of play. The rules might change, but the game will be there forever.
I feel like Spanish music is on the rise because these platforms, these streaming platforms, you'll see a song like Despacito, they're doing like 30 million streams a week. The American rappers want to get on their music just because they like how it sounds and how it feels, and they see how the girls dance to it, and they want to be a part of it too.
That's the whole transformation that's taking place with rap, is that there used to be an archetype that people thought made sense, and it's like, oh, we need drug dealers, we need big, strong men, and now it's like, oh no, actually it could be anything. Over the course of the next 5-10 years or whatever, is that it's gonna become much more normal to have a rapper from India that, I mean, you have somebody like Rich Chigga who's from fucking Indonesia. Rich Chigga's probably putting forth a better case for there being like an international rapper who can fit in sonically with the average American rapper. That's gonna be like a major boundary that's kind of broken down, is the international boundary.
I think it's going now to where they're gonna have to create subcultures of hip hop. Like there's subcultures in rock. You have like alternative rock and different classical rock. Right now, it's kind of jumbo everything together. Like they were comparing the Jay-Z album to the 21 Savage album, and I don't think that's two things that even should ever be compared.
In music, hip-hop has infected the youth all over the globe because it's relating to them. It's speaking their language. There's no Japanese translation for a Wu-Tang record. They like it for whatever reason they like it. And then they ask for more. So as service providers, we gotta give them more. And then when they demand to see us, we gotta go and deliver.
People want something new, you know what I'm saying? It's not discounting, so to speak, real hip hop. I don't even believe in like real hip hop. Each generation is supposed to change. It's supposed to grow.
The music changes every day. Thug might go into the studio and create a whole different wave. Uzi might go in the studio and create a whole different wave. Yachty, definitely, he stay on different waves. They can come and drop a record tomorrow and that shit could be a whole different wave. Everybody's rapping different now.
Anything that evolves in the evolution of it, you may lose some things and you may gain some things. So, you know, it's lost some of its innocence when it comes to just the purity of people just making hip hop for the love of what the culture is. But there are still some who truly do love it. You know, I think I choose to focus on them and what they're doing more than I choose to focus on the art that is being created that's just strictly about commerce or people that don't have the love for it. But I don't feel like we lost enough for it to be like, it's gone. It's alive and it's growing, and this is something I'm really passionate about.
But the Jay-Z with that H to this,
That ain't what he said. That don't sound like he said that, but whatever.
Nothing, probably, yeah. Fuck, what were you saying?
Well,
not doing it.
Moving a little slower next time.
I don't have any more.
You're off the